Good morning. Welcome, everyone. It's my pleasure. My name is Todd Olson, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Pendo. And welcome to Pendemonium 2018. So, really excited for the event this week. Well, it's been an amazing year. So, if you look back 1 year ago, there's about 160 folks for our inaugural Pendemonium, and now it's going to be a very cozy 400 people in this hotel. So get to know your neighbor. Feel free to squeeze in. There are still some seats up front, and there will be more people coming. But it's really exciting. We have 402 attendees this year from all over the United States. So what's really exciting is that 75% of you are not from this area. So a lot of folks are new to Raleigh. And who's new to Raleigh? Who's never been here before? Wow. That's quite a number of hands. So welcome to our wonderful city. We can't obviously predict the weather, so I apologize for the overcast, but hopefully it'll be an amazing couple days here. Just to give you a sense of who's in the room, this is a product and UX focused conference, so it's not a shock that over nearly 60% of the folks are in product and UX functions. But there's a lot of other folks here from customer success, education, marketing. There's some executive folks as well. So this kind of gives you a sense of the room. And yeah. So last year we introduced this notion of product experience. And product experience for us was all about the process. It was about how do you think about your products in terms of what your customers are experiencing. The onboarding cycle, the education, personalization. Last year was about process. How? This year is about the ultimate goal and outcome, and it's something that we're coined as product love, and I think you see that in the video, but for us, product love is what we're all shooting for. It's the goal. And when someone says they love your product, that means that you've actually succeeded, and that's what we're all striving for. And we want to talk a lot about why it's important and how you can help do that. And if you think about it, part of the challenges in product love is that the world's changed a lot. So we talk about this term multi-channel, and multi-channel is the next evolution of computing on multiple devices. And it started off, everyone had a mobile strategy. And there's a lot of conversation about mobile first. Well, I think now we've evolved beyond mobile or mobile first to how do you have multiple devices? The average person interacts with your service across over 2.4 devices. That means almost 3. Think computer, think phone, think iPad, tablet, right? So if you're not designing for how people consume you across these devices, you're probably missing an opportunity to deliver a better experience to your users. They're also event-driven. So what this means is that very often, and this is a Gartner quote, but what we're seeing is people expect you to be leveraging data from their interactions to personalize the experience. So you're capturing tons of data, and that's the great thing about big data, that we have lots of data now in our applications, is now we need to think about how can we leverage data to deliver a more personalized experience for the user. What do we know about this user to make their interactions better, and how are we doing that? And then, of course, almost all of us have either a subscription-based service or we have a strategy around becoming subscription-based because we as consumers like subscribing to things, certainly in technology. Why do we do this? Because technology is rapidly innovating. So why would I lock myself into something that in 1 to 2 years is obsolete? Now, on the flip side of that, us as technology providers, we now have to re-earn that business. We need to keep up with the pace of innovation. We need to keep listening to customers and keep meeting their needs. And the reality is we're competing for people's time. Most folks, 23% will abandon an app after one use. That's a very high bar. So if you're not delivering an amazing experience in that one use, it's a good chance you will never see that user again. And that's kind of scary and kind of challenging. And that's why we think product love is so critical. So while you're sitting here, I want to challenge all of you is who has product love today? Yeah, there's laughs, chuckles. So this is the bar. So I'm going to challenge everyone to leverage these next 2 days with this group, listening to amazing sessions, hearing stories, pockets of success that we see across the industry, to try to figure out how you can take back to your organizations lessons learned to help get towards product love. That's the goal. And keep fighting for it. And it may seem a little bit unattainable, but it's really important. And I'm going to challenge you that, I was at dinner last night, and some folks say, well, we're a B2B software company. We don't need to generate love, or it didn't really matter, or my executive team doesn't care. My CEO is a former CFO, and they don't understand why product matters. And these are real challenges, and I understand that all of you face these challenges, but can you afford to wait until you have a competitor that has a better product? Can you afford to wait until you start losing and churning customers to say, then we're going to invest? You need to start it now. And last night we had this amazing mac and cheese. And yes, this is a picture of mac and cheese. This is Pool's Diners mac and cheese. Feel free to Google it. We had this, and immediately after someone ate it for the first time, the person said, this is product love. And it's a no-joke response. If you haven't had this, it literally, the first time you eat it is like, this is amazing. I want to come back to this restaurant. Now, we've all had lots of mac and cheese in our life. I mean, unless you don't eat gluten or dairy, then you probably have not had mac and cheese, which there's probably a growing number of you in the room. But the reality is a lot of us have had mac and cheese, and a lot of it's fairly average. Very infrequently do you eat something like this simple and think, I need to have this again. I love this thing. But if you think about the success that the person who creates this is a multiple James Beard award-winning finalist. She has 4 restaurants in downtown Raleigh. She has a best-selling cookbook. That's the difference between striving for just good and love. And yes, it is only macaroni, cheese, and heavy cream. I think a lot of heavy cream. And it is not good for you. So I know that it's not good for me, but it gets me back. And that's how you want people to feel about your product. You want them to feel like they want to come back, yearn for more, even if it's bad for them. And please don't make it bad for them. But you want them to yearn to get back. And that's kind of what we're focused on. Now, how do we get there? So today we're debuting something incredibly exciting. This is the first that we've ever really talked about this. This is the notion of the product cloud. And the product cloud is the how behind product love. So how do you get product love? It's really adopting and instituting the product cloud. So this is a new concept. I'm going to walk through this today. And why is this new? Well, because when we started in the product industry, there weren't a lot of interesting technologies and tools. When we started Pendo, one of the number one questions I'd get and critiques from the venture capitalist community is there's no budget for product tools because product managers don't buy anything. There's nothing to buy. There's no budget. Really, do you want to start that company? That seems like a bad idea. I got that a lot. And now there's 400 people in this room that probably disagree because the industry has changed. The problem has changed. And while spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations were enough back 10 or 15 years ago, it's not enough today, and it's not what we have today. We have a whole set of solutions that have been formed in the last 3 to 5 years that are solving real key problems for product people. We're excited that a lot of these companies are here sponsoring this event, so please go visit them. But there's a variety of problems, a variety of challenges that spreadsheets and PowerPoint are not sufficient to solve. And that's why these have emerged. They've emerged out of pain. People like us in this room have had pain, and solutions have formed. But there's an opportunity to integrate and orchestrate these because these are good, awesome solutions at solving these pain points, but there's an opportunity to integrate this across an entire life cycle and share. And this isn't different than what we saw in other disciplines. So, of course, this is from Mad Men, and this is, and one could argue whether the 1960s marketing discipline was run like this, but it was a lot more instinct and intuition than it is today. Today, the modern marketer does not wear a suit and tie and drink scotch. It's a person behind a computer running campaigns, measuring, tweaking. It's very analytical. The concept people use is evolving from Mad Men to Math Men, and that's sort of how you think about it. I mean, we've gone from some scotch to hoodies, and that's if you're doing it right. And the same is going to happen in product, where we go from big visionary thinkers that are all about instinct and intuition to one where we're focused on data. And of course, this transition has evolved into other clouds. We saw this. There's a sales cloud, there's a developer cloud, there's a marketing cloud. All of you probably have these clouds in your companies today because the function requires it to be successful in winning at these. If you want to be best in class, you probably have all of them today. And we see the product cloud as the next significant cloud you need for your business. So the center of all these clouds is data. And it's not unlike the product cloud. So we believe that the system of record needs to have amazing data about the product. So whether it's product data, product analytics, it's qualitative information about the product. Then around that, it's what we do with it. How do we activate that data? There's a variety of tools and orchestration that we do to take that data and add value back to the product lifecycle. And then beyond that, the most important aspects of it is the integration and extensibility. So how do we connect these tools together to create a cohesive cloud solution that all integrates, that all talks to each other, the various pieces of the life cycle? So open and extensible is a key attribute of this cloud. The other aspect that we should talk about is it's not just for product people. I log into Salesforce. I log into our marketing cloud. I'm not a marketing person, but there's information about marketing that I need to do my job. And if you're in customer success, if you're in marketing, you probably need to use the product cloud to effect. Whether it's in marketing doing in-app campaigns or in customer success, it's possibly a QBR. In sales, it could be running a trial. But you very likely need data in the product cloud to do your job more effectively, and that's why it exists. And it will fundamentally change how we do things. We think a lot at Pendo in terms of jobs to be done. If you're not familiar with jobs to be done, Google jobs to be done, milkshake. Trust me, the milkshake piece is key. It talks about how you think about jobs to be done. What does a milkshake do for you? And I think about what Annie's solution does, and I think about the product cloud. What does it do for us? It does some of these things: understanding user sentiment or customer segment, understanding and onboarding users more effectively. It's a critical problem. Improving product engagement, which we see early indicator of retention. Increases feature adoption. That could lead to upsells, cross-sells, other revenue-generating events. So these are all critical jobs to be done that the product cloud can fundamentally transform the way done. Go from very manual to more automated, more orchestrated, more integrated. And ultimately, we see the product cloud enabling product love. So this is the why behind adopting the product cloud, is helping generate this feeling of love. So what's new? So we have exciting announcements this week in terms of what we're doing on the product side, and a lot of it fits into this product cloud theme. Tomorrow, actually, you're going to see demos of all these, so I will provide a sneak preview, and then tomorrow you'll see, actually, from the whole product team, live demos, so very excited about that. But what's up first? Comparative analytics. This is the ability to compare information across segments, features. So the way I look at it is any question that you should have about your product, this should be able to answer, give you deeper insights into what's going on. One of the challenges we see is people have to constantly bring things into Microsoft Excel to answer difficult questions. We don't want you to have to do that. You should be able to use the product cloud to get the answers to the questions that you have. Another key area is goals. This is something that's a personal passion of mine. Early in my career in product, it felt like we would celebrate every single product feature release. Yes, we shipped. We would go drink beer. We would get excited about it. We would celebrate the shipment. We'd move on to the next feature, and we forget about the fact that people may not be adopting a thing we just shipped. It may actually not be meeting the business case of what we delivered. So how do you check in on that? How do you make sure that the things that you build deliver positive business outcomes, deliver on the ROI, deliver on the intent? Goals is our first attempt at solving this problem for you. So I'd encourage you sit back, talk with your teams. What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Do you even know? You have it written down? And measure yourself against it. This is an opportunity to really go from good to great in your organization. And, I think, I've heard feedback from people like, what if we don't meet our goals? So yes, there is that. But this is an opportunity to set aggressive goals and then try to exceed them. Do what you can to beat them. So this is exciting, and this is available to everyone today. We've also released a new command center for multiple dashboards. And this is, again, helping you get to the data and insights you need to make faster decisions. So you can set up dashboards for trials, for onboarding. You'll see some really great examples next week for Net Promoter Score dashboards, customer sentiment dashboards. So you can tailor your dashboards based on the segments you care about, maybe a specific customer you care about. So all of it giving you the information you need to more effectively do your job. Track events are an interesting area for us. And this is about getting richer data, more complete data in the cloud. So previously, all of our data were click streams, page loads, so we're starting to get a much richer set of data. So there are some things in the UI that we simply cannot understand, whether it's errors coming back from the server or maybe back-end events. You now can leverage our track event API to capture those and get a more richer perspective of what's going in your product. This is candidly something we've avoided building for years because we realize that it requires some developer intervention, but there's tons of use cases that it opens up for all of you, and we're excited to finally announce that this morning. We have a new integration hub, and this is something that's been in the works for a while as well. We're excited to announce that we have almost 24 integrations that are available now. That's everything from CRM, customer success tools, to interactive knowledge bases. So if you want to bring existing knowledge-based content into your product, we support a number of those out of the box. One-on-one chat tools, so integrating chat into your application. We're able to help become the hub for that. But more importantly, this hub architecture allows us to add integrations much faster than before. We're even evaluating and opening up so other people can add it on their own. So this is an exciting new opportunity to create more openness and more extensibility in the cloud. So what's happening next week? 44 sessions. So if you look through the schedule, there's a ton of great content from a variety of roles. I'd encourage you to take the time to go around and listen to some of the amazing stories. Most of the stories are actually non-Pendo content. There's a ton of amazing stories from customers just like yourselves, struggling and succeeding at some of the challenges that you're dealing with. So I'd encourage you to leverage out all of the breakout sessions. Very excited about our guest speakers this year. I'll introduce Nir in a few minutes. Then we have Dan tomorrow. I highly encourage you to be present for these. Really great content. Who's heard of Product Craft? Great, that's a great number. So Product Craft is a new content site we launched for product teams. We actually have an editorial team running it. We have a Product Craft corner that's over in the wing, and so feel free to stop by, sign up for it. It's just amazing content. We actually have a debate club in it where we debate interesting product topics and some interesting surveys. But at the end of each day in the general session at 3:50, we're going to have Product Craft panels, so just open discussions with industry leaders talking about challenges in product. There will be an open bar for this, so feel free to grab a beverage and then bring it into the room. And it'll be at the end of every single day. So I'd encourage you to be involved in that. Also, there's a Product Craft confessional. This is where you can literally confess. You can complain about your peers, your engineering team, your customer success team, anything you want, or vice versa. In this confessional, we're going to videotape them, and if you want us, you can ask us not to publish them if it's really, really juicy stuff, but it'll also be over in the Product Craft area, so really excited about Product Craft, and we're also looking for people to contribute. So if you have ideas that you want to write about, please contribute. There's no better way to advance yourself professionally than then share ideas, to write, create content. Best practices, I highly encourage. It's a great way to grow personally. So this is an opportunity. We're looking for submissions from all of you. We also have Pendo office hours set up right out here, so we'll answer any and all Pendo questions. Feel free to stop by. You'll see a room labeled office hours. And then last but certainly not least, there's a swag store over in the sponsor area. When you registered and checked in, you should have received a form which allows you to visit booths. You can redeem a filled-in form for swag. So everything from pink socks to T-shirts to all sorts of amazing swag. So from both us and the sponsors. We're actually looking to call on all of you to help us co-create the product cloud. So you'll see an area by craft that says, what's your product stack? There are sticky notes. There are Sharpies. Fill in the tools that you use. We want to hear from you. We want to design what the stack looks like for the modern product team, and this is your opportunity to help us do that. So if you fill in products here, there's also blank areas to fill in categories of products. If we're missing one, or you're just completely missing some box, please feel free to add it in. This is your opportunity to help us co-create what's the modern stack look like for what we need to be thinking about and using on a regular basis. Tonight, we're asking everyone to join us for an amazing concert at the Lincoln Theater. So plenty of space there. We will have food. You do not need to have dinner beforehand. There'll be plenty of food there. And we'll have Mipso perform. Tomorrow night, we'll be at we'll be inside that globe for our customer awards dinner. There will be trolleys and bicycle taxis to take us there. Depending on the weather, the bicycle taxis, I believe they'll be covered. But yes, we'll make sure we have plenty of transportation over there. So that's an amazing venue, and really excited for our customer awards gala tomorrow night. As always, if you have questions, please see our Pendemonium Slack channel. Who's on Pendemonium Slack? Wow, all of you. Great. If you're on, see someone from Pendo. We launched this last year. We have over 1,000 people in our Slack channel, and this is an exciting way to learn more about your community here, but also build micro communities. I noticed that across the country there are people. There's an Austin channel. There's I think there's a Vancouver channel. There's a ton of channels based on wherever you are, where you can meet like-minded people within your community, and it's an opportunity to share tips and tricks as well. Thanks again to our sponsors, or all of our sponsors over there. This event would not come off without them. So again, please visit them. Please learn about them. I'm really excited about our sponsors. With that, I'm going to give up the stage to our next amazing speaker. I'm excited to welcome Wade Shear, Vice President of User Experience at Workfront and co-founder of the Front Conference.